Hey everyone, let's take a look at how to do a paper rocket. Okay, so you're going to need some supplies. Need some kind of paper. Now I chose cardstock. Hopefully you've got something like this at your house. If you don't, alternatively you could use, these are just 3x5 cards, and so you could take those and tape a couple of them together. So you could use 3x5 cards. They're good. Or if you don't have anything, these are 5x7 cards, sorry. If you don't have that, you could use one of these folders that will store things in. You could use that. Just make sure that you don't make your rocket more than 14 inches tall. So if you were to turn your folder this direction, you could get a rocket that's too tall. It'd be difficult to launch. So if you make your rocket this direction, you should be ready to go. Okay, some kind of paper. You'll probably need about 2 pieces because you'll need a fuselage, a nose cone, and some fins. Okay, our next thing, you're going to need some tape. Now, this is just regular gift wrap tape. This will work in some instances, but if you're going to use it only, you'll need a whole ton of it. Masking tape is useful. Sometimes it's just useful for the outer diameter so you can trace. This kind of tape, not going to be useful. So I'll use it to trace the outside for my nose cone, but it is meant to let go, and that's not going to be good. So if you can find some of this packing tape, this is the secret sauce that makes your thing fly well. Next thing you're going to need, tape, paper. You'll need obviously scissors and a pencil or a pen, something to write with, and you may need 7 pencils in a minute. So that should do it. Now, another thing you're going to have is something to build around. Now, this is PVC pipe. This is what people use on sprinkler systems in their yard. So this is 1/2 inch PVC, and the weird thing is the 1/2 inch is the inside. So our challenge here is that the outside is 7/8. It's a little bit bigger. It's bigger than 3/4. So 7/8 of an inch on the outside. Well, if you don't have any of this 1/2 inch PVC, you could use some other stuff. Now this is a dowel. This is a 1/2 inch dowel. And if you look when I compare these, you'll see that it's quite a bit smaller, almost fits inside. So if you have a 1/2 inch dowel, you could make it loose on this and that would work. If you don't have a dowel, this is the thingy that fits inside your toilet paper roll in the bathroom, and you may have some of these. So I've made kind of a pre-attempt at a rocket, and you can see that on the small side I would make it loose because this is 1/2 inch. This side's a little tight, but that's fine. You could use the fat side of your toilet paper spring-loaded roll holder, and toilet paper of course is on everybody's mind right now, so you could use this, or you can look around your house. Another thing you can do is if you bundle 7 pencils together, it's almost exactly the right size. So putting 7 pencils in a bundle like that with a rubber band around it will allow you to build your rocket. Okay, let's get started really fast here. I'll have to pause a couple of times. I'm going to take this thing and wrap it around whatever I'm using as my template, my mold. Okay, so I'll do that. I don't need the whole paper, so I'm going to trim this off right here because it's too much. There's more paper than I actually need. So I'll make my mold. I don't want it super tight, but enough to just hold. If you took your paper roll holder from your bathroom, you could put that in there. This is where my little gift wrap tape will come in. It just helps me to hold it steady until I'm ready with the bigger tape, the packing tape. Okay, so I'll take this, just hold it quickly in a couple of spots, then I take off a chunk of packing tape like this. Come on. And we'll just put that down that seam. Now this is where ordinarily at school we would have a partner, and that partner could help you to keep this straight as you're putting it all together. So we'll just kind of roll over that, get that to hold down, and then we can trim off the excess at the top. Okay, so once it's done, it will look something like, well, it'll come out now, it'll look something like this. Okay, so we've got that all taped. Now, the secret sauce. Once you've got this done, you'll take your tube and set it on a piece of paper and trace the circle that it makes. Something like this. So you just get that rough circle right here. And then you're going to add some little tabs to it like this. We'll cut that out, and that becomes this part right here. So you can see I'm going to fit this over the tube right here, but this is the block that allows the air we're going to shoot into here to push this rocket off. Okay, so that's going to be an important part of being able to launch your rocket, that you have that little stopper block in there. If you don't do that, it just shoots your nose cone off and nothing happens. Your rocket won't launch. Usually it just blows your rocket to bits. Okay, so I want this to be relatively loose, not super tight. I've done a couple of these so they fit just snugly but not too tight. And that stopper block is important. Okay, looking at fins. So I cut out a fin design right here, and then I used it to trace. I'm gonna have 4 fins, and so I did this like that. But once I've got my fin ready, I need to make a way to attach it to the rocket. So I'm gonna trace a line about, I don't know, 1/4 inch over, and then I'm gonna cut into that about 3 or 4 times, like this, and then I will fold back and forth so that I have each one going back and forth, something like that. Okay, then what I'll do is attach that to my rocket body, the fuselage, by just putting a piece of tape right there. And you can see I can tape it on both sides. So if you don't do this really securely, the launch is kind of violent, so it shoots that right off. It'll just tear these fins right off if you don't tape them securely. So now I can take either the gift wrap tape, or better yet, this packing tape, make a short piece and do that. And I'll do that about 4 times. Okay, so I'll have 4 different fins. You could do a 3-fin design like I have over here in a minute. I'll show you. Now, nose cone. The next step, I trace the tape and I mark the center. So I'm going, or yeah, trace the tape roll. Now I'm going to cut that guy out. And I don't need the whole shape. This is actually way too much. So tracing the circle helps, but marking the center is critical. That lets you know where the center is. And what we'll do is just cut that out, and then we'll cut a radius, which is an edge cut to the center, something like that. And you'll see that when I start doing this, there's a ton of overlap, and it makes my circle too big. So I'm actually only going to use about half of this. Okay, now I can start to overlap that until I get a nice pointed nose cone, and that nose cone should be just big enough to fit on top of my rocket. I've got it a little big right now, so I'm going to work it, overlapping and sliding it around until I get it to be about the same size. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'll take my gift tape here and just overlapping this, we'll just tape that down so that it won't come undone. Now I do have a little hole on the top, and that's going to be fine because actually when I'm done, I'm going to use some of this masking tape to build that tip up so that when this rocket crashes, and it will crash, it's going to crash right into the ground, I'm going to use this to kind of build that nozzle tip, the nose cone tip, so that when it hits I can remodel it and it will be fine. Okay, so here's my nose cone. To attach it to my rocket fuselage, I'll take this, set it on there, and with my partner, parent, brother, sister, whoever is handy, we'll just do some tape around it and then tape around again to make the tape hold. Okay, when I did tape this on, I taped over the top going this direction, and then I put a piece of tape all the way around so that that's really strong. Okay, well, that's basic construction. Stop block, nose cone is ready now. When I'm done, it'll look something like this guy, and this one's been launched many times, so you can see that it has a lot of tape here to hold everything together. I taped the nose cone again. This one is a 4-fin rocket, and so you've got a nice shape there, fits easily over my PVC pipe, so when it's ready to launch, the air pressure will just shoot that guy right off. I also made this rocket. This is a 3-fin rocket design. You can see here that we have these overlaps that help that to tape on. I made these fins quite large on this one, bigger than they need to be probably. Fits over this relatively snugly. It doesn't have to be too tight. And I've got these canard fins on the front. You don't have to have those, but I thought, I'll try them. Let's see what happens. This one's been launched many times also, and I've remolded the nose multiple times also. Okay, so remember, when you come on Friday to be on time, come to the Blue Gate, and we'll launch it as many times as we have time for until the next group of people come. By the way, be really careful when you're making this. You could have an accident like I did. kind of painful. Okay guys, well, good luck, and hope you enjoyed this little session. Good luck making your rocket. Be sure to tape it securely, and have a great day.